Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea. Welcome back to another HarstemCast video. Today we'll be having a look at a very special game. As here in the bottom left, spawning as the red Protoss player is going to be none other than Harstem himself. And in the top right, spawning as the blue Toss is going to be ShoWTimE here. It's a game recently played in the DreamHack Masters winter, and we see ShoWTimE scouting after his first gateway. This is the safest thing to do, and the reason for that is simply that if you scout after your gateway, you're capable of blocking your opponent's one gate expansion. Harstem scouts after the second gate, but isn't actually going to scout, and instead will most likely proxy something in the natural. I'm very curious to see what that's going to be. Could just be a pylon, could also be something like a Robo or the Stargate, although I know Harstem a little bit, and I believe this is going to be a pylon over here. Now we do see the Cybercore coming down at a regular time, 15 workers on minerals, as ShoWTimE is trying to deny a little bit of mining here, but it's not quite working. Well, there we go, as I say it does get a hit off, and some of these probes have to change mineral patch. Here Harstem just a little bit too fast for the German player, and we immediately see a probe going around the map here for ShoWTimE. ShoWTimE's going to be looking for proxies, which makes sense because ShoWTimE isn't aware whatsoever that there is a pylon in the natural here. Could scout it potentially, but sometimes people don't do it, and I think that's something that Harstem is hoping for here. This probe actually has a very big path. Sees a Krepton. It's not quite going to go to this area. Actually, what is the path that this probe is taking? It's going to check this pylon, and we'll actually find it. I'll say, whoa, hey, that looks cool. It's a pylon over there. And now ShoWTimE will just head back home, checks the watchtower and says, alright, I know what you're doing, and it's fake. I won't buy it. Both players now opening up with Stalker, Stalker, Sentry, Sentry. We see ShoWTimE up one worker, but Harstem with slightly more money in the bank. If he wasn't so darn slow, he could have already had a Nexus down, but it's about 100 minerals late, and you gotta forgive the Dutchie there for that a little bit. His brain is a little slower than the other boys, and that's completely fine as well. I'm just happy that he's still able to compete at a decent level at this old age that he's at. Now we have a very quick Twilight Council and a delayed battery here for the red Protoss player. It's gonna be going into most likely slightly faster blink than his opponent. We do see still a reasonably timed Twilight. Like, this is not a late Twilight whatsoever. It's also not the fastest Twilight. It's before the fourth pylon, which is still reasonably timed. Alright, like it's gonna be what, a 20-second difference maybe? Not even. No, actually, yeah, 20 seconds. I'm not sure why I said not even. It's gonna be actually completely 20 seconds. Which means that there's going to be a 20-second window in which Harstem has the ability to start moving across the map with Stalkers and maybe dish out a little bit of damage. I'm curious to see if that's going to be what he's aiming for as well. As both players now are sending their hallucination scouts across the map. I think we could do a little bit of music here, couldn't we? We definitely could. It's the sweet tones of the StarCraft 2 playlist aren't quite entering my ear yet. Maybe soon. There we go. No forge for either player. A little bit surprising here. We see a very fast third base for the Dutchie, and ShoWTimE instead of opting for an extra warp in. So this is going to be the first difference here. So where Harstem decides to straight up go for that third base, we see ShoWTimE with a very fast warp in. ShoWTimE also being a little bit more safe, a little safer, just scouting around with that Phoenix, with those Stalkers as well, grabbing the watchtowers, making sure that he's aware of what's happening. Even's gonna get a second warp in before that Nexus. This could actually play a decently sized role here later on in the game, because if ShoWTimE now decides to move across the map, he's just up an entire warp in. That could have potentially dire consequences for the Dutchie. Now, of course, the Dutchie still has a faster blink upgrade, but I don't think he's going to be able to use that here, as ShoWTimE's blink is only 20 seconds down. And let's not forget about this, the fact that ShoWTimE kind of had map control this entire game. So ShoWTimE saw that there's no move out. He's now going to send 2 adepts around as well. Okay, this is cool. So ShoWTimE says, alright, we're going to match in Stalker count. I'm going to hope that you don't have blink yet, which Harstem does have blink, so that's unfortunate for ShoWTimE. A couple of force fields could have helped a lot as blink wasn't done yet. Harstem is anticipating here these 2 adepts coming in from the right side. At the same time trying to defend. 1 sentry goes down on the side of the red Protoss. Second sentry is going to fall as well. Mediocre force fields. And these adepts are going to finish up in the natural. This is going to cost quite a bit. 4, 5, maybe 6 workers here. No, 6, yeah, 6 workers total actually. That's a big deal. 6 workers is a big deal. Now, of course, the Nexus was faster, and I think the Red Protoss will be able to make up the difference here. It's still painful, though, to be down or to lose 6 workers. Otherwise, you just would be up 6 workers here, and ShoWTimE would perhaps be struggling a little bit. Everything else relatively even, right? We're 4 gates and similar timing. I don't even mind the position here whatsoever for the Red Protoss. Curious to see what the follow-up is going to be. So there's a couple of viable follow-ups. We could be heading into an 8-gate charge lot. Unlikely now. As we take fast 5 gas. If we see a 6th gas, it's either going to be a very dedicated Templar Archives push, or it's going to be something like Robo Base, second Robo, off of 6 or off of 8 gateways. Both definitely possible. ShoWTimE's heading for that 5 gas Templar Archives, and we do see the extra gates coming in. Gate 7 and 8 are being added right now. At the same time, Harstem will be going into the double Robo Bay, and this might be just a difference in style, I would say, where Harstem is a player that really likes those disruptors, and ShoWTimE isn't quite as fond of them. He's very good with them, but prefers to first see if he can get ahead with maybe an Archon push, a charge-lot Archon push. Of course, we do see charge on the side of the Red Protoss as well, who's now moving out with a decent chunk of Stalkers, actually. 16 Stalkers are out already, which means there's way superior Stalker numbers here for the Dutch. Who's actually going to be splitting up this into 2 groups. And trying to get some damage done. Almost going to lose a Stalker, not quite though. And now these 3 Stalkers with +1 should be capable of one-shotting workers. 2 workers go down, and I mean, it's not a bad start here for the Dutchie, who's already starting his Disruptor production. Faster +2 as well. So I'm kind of digging his position here. Has map control with a superior Stalker count. And has the Observer here aggressively as well. 2 Observers for both players. 1 at home. Well, 2 at home really for ShoWTimE. Where's the second one? Okay, yeah, both at home. So no real map vision for ShoWTimE. Well, Harstem has a lot of eyes on the map, that's for sure. 4th base, similarly timed. But we do already have, I believe, 1 Disruptor out. And we're going to see a 2nd Disruptor soon. This gas isn't mining yet. Has been taken. But it's not mining yet. And it might be important, as this is the type of timing where maybe you want to get a Dark Shrine. Brilliant move here out of the Dutch Protoss. Seeing his opponent move out, going in with the second part of his army. Almost like how a Terran would play this. See, 2 armies on the map and you see your opponent move in and bam. Just like that, you go. Maybe you could snipe that Observer here. No, instead he's going to lose his own Observer. We'll try to get 1 or 2 Zealots. And now I guess he's kind of anticipating some type of flank. Flank out of ShoWTimE, not really going to actually happen. We see a recall as ShoWTimE tried to catch that army, and he will find nothing instead. He's going to be a little bit confused and then realize, wait a second, my opponent also has a recall. Then the confusion will probably wear off very rapidly. Alright, both players on 4 bases, ShoWTimE with the faster gases on that fort. Also getting into the Disruptors right now. So we see 4 Disruptors out for Harstem, 0 for ShoWTimE. Perhaps there's a timing here which a Dutchie can use. Dark Shrine coming down at the same time. We see a bit of a gas bank, so I'm not quite sure how useful the 8 gas is. But will allow ShoWTimE to get a crap ton of DTs the moment he will decide to get a Dark Shrine, which doesn't seem to really be in the works as of yet. Once +2 finishes up, I'm kind of expecting a move out. Oh, I love this move. Look at this. Vision with the Observer. Move out with the Stalkers. Wanting his opponent to move in. This is the type of play that I really like. So you're kind of telling your opponent, oh no, I'm out of position. In reality, you're completely in position. Look at this. Couple of Disruptor shots here coming out. Bang. First one hits. Bang. Second one also is going to hit. Immortal. Couple of Zealots going down. There was a big miss there. Impressive. There was only a single unit and instead he hit the rocks. We all have our faults, of course. No +3 starting yet for the Dutch Protoss. And now the battle for this watchtower will start commencing. As in Disruptor Wars, fighting for vision is one of the main things. Observer vision, watchtower vision. It's an interesting prism, by the way. We see also asymmetrical expanding here, by the way. So ShoWTimE went for this corner base, for this side base immediately, and Harstem went for the more conservative base over here. Makes it harder for Harstem to get a 5th but easier to keep the 4th. And the same can be said here for ShoWTimE. Easy to get a 5th, but this 4th might be difficult to hold, as there's a very short path from this watchtower, and if you don't have control of that watchtower, you could potentially be in some big danger. I like this move a lot. Look at that. Looking for snipes with these stalkers, perhaps a disruptor. It's not going to get the disruptor, and then with the disruptor just pushing forward, pretending to be there with his main army. We have blink DTs on the way for both players right now. Big flank is coming in as well, as we have a couple of cannons being warped in, but there already is a prism in position here for ShoWTimE, and it's going to remain in position, at least for now. Big disruptor hit. This is a bad position here for ShoWTimE, actually. He's kind of stuck behind his own nexus here, and that allows Harstem to start shooting and maybe even take out a couple of workers. I wouldn't mind seeing a Purification Nova go into that mineral line. Same time, we have a couple of Zealots heading towards that 5th base. Good snipe. Does end up losing. I think that was a disruptor there that went down. So now we see... look at this vision. Beautiful vision here out of the Dutch Protoss. 5 DTs, 6 DTs being warped in. See some defensive DTs here as well. At the same time, things are going ham on the other side. Both players playing relatively fast. ShoWTimE a fair amount quicker though than its Dutch counterpart. Here we're going to be seeing a couple of disruptor traits. Perhaps ShoWTimE faster fingers, but Harstem faster on the trigger finger there. As that disruptor fight did get won by him. Nice kill there on a couple of Zealots as well. The disruptor count for ShoWTimE is relatively low, needs to be careful. So this gets cleaned up with a good observer recall. A couple of cannons could definitely help out. 3k minerals in the bank currently for Harstem, who's way up in units lost. We have a big shift here from ShoWTimE though. There's about 13 Dark Templar, a couple of Archons in this army as well. It's going to start a run by. There's not a whole lot left here. There's a single disruptor right now if Harstem realizes that he can blink forward and perhaps kill this base. Instead, he's most likely now going to lose this base. There is an observer here for ShoWTimE. There's not a whole lot for Harstem to defend. There's not enough cannons on this base either, so potentially trouble over there. Blinks back right now. This is looking good for ShoWTimE now, I think. Even though the unit lost was a lot worse for him earlier, taking out one base and potentially even taking out this base, recall is available. Harstem probably should consider doing that. Instead loses a couple of stalkers. Doesn't really hit anything with his disruptors. Has the superior disruptor numbers, but is just going to end up losing this base, and that is very, very painful. We see that Harstem is trying to push the issue rather than going home to defend. He can't keep his composure. We'll be able to most likely snipe that disruptor. Yeah, we'll be able to snipe that disruptor. Interesting blink forward. Oh my god, 3 disruptors are going down with a single shot. A lot of these stalkers are going down as well. So even though a lot of the eco of the Dutch TOS has gone down, the German now is struggling to hold, as the army supply is just in favor of our Dutch Protoss player. We have Warpins over here, Zealots at a slow Warpin base. A couple of disruptors were being saved up in the natural for a potential base trade maybe. Now we have a couple of potentially big shots. Yep, that's one big shot. A couple of DTs going down. Next shot also going to hit about 8 supply. Oh my god, that was so close. That was about, what, 7, 8 DTs. We'll get it with another one. What is that? Oh my god. Double the army supply right now for the Dutch TOS. We see 4 disruptors against a single disruptor. This base should just die at this point, and I think ShoWTimE's in a world of trouble. 91 workers, but he is down 60 army supply and will give up this base. No blink after these probes. Debatable decision. On the other hand, we are still on 3 base here, only for Harstem. It's perhaps not the amount of bases you want to be on. To be fair, also only 56 workers. You see a crap ton of cannons going down here. Harstem not really pushing the issue. Calming down a little bit. This gas still not taken, by the way. I think there definitely is potential here for something. Double the army supply still. Only 2 disruptors. Can we get something done? Can we get something done here? I think the answer is just attacking into the 3rd base. Harstem somehow isn't seeing this. And is just sitting back. Being a little bit too slow. Okay, here we go. Start moving forward. No more disruptors on the way right now for Harstem, who's at a good number of 8. He's too slow moving forward. Blink forward here. It's possible. Is a possibility. Almost hits one of these. Ooh, interesting blink out of ShoWTimE. Very risky. Doesn't really have the numbers to make that type of move. Now reinforcements are going to get caught. Disruptor is also going to get picked off. I think ShoWTimE is actually stabilizing, as we see the army supply is closing in at this point, and I think Harstem just gave him a little bit too much time there. Now Harstem is going to pick off these Zealots and Archons. This is a good move. This is a really nice fight. Well, doesn't get everything, but gets a decent amount of units at least. Unit lost heavily in favor of the Dutch TOS by about 5k at this point. This base is being retaken now. It seems like ShoWTimE has found his composure again. Disruptor count still rising for ShoWTimE. Good blink forward out of Harstem. Will snipe a single disruptor there as well. 2 more disruptors on the way. We have a run by that's not doing much of anything as ShoWTimE is once again in position. That's pretty much the story of this game, is ShoWTimE defending well and Harstem not getting anything done with run bys, and even when there is an army advantage, not getting much done in general. Now this is a position that I do like though. Perhaps one good disruptor shot can make a difference here. Do we have a... Oh! Big potential shot, none of them really hitting though, and that was a nice one. A couple of stalkers will go down, but not the greatest fight altogether, and a lot of the disruptors now are going to be going down on the side of Harstem. We still have 7 remaining for ShoWTimE. ShoWTimE might have the bigger disruptor count, but he might just lose this base. It's difficult to say. I think 4 good zoning shots definitely could mean something here. Could be something of value. Oh! Interesting blink forward, very risky. But does pay off. Observer gets sniped. What's the observer lost? Holy crap, how do you see that? What's the hotkey? There we go. 7 observers lost for both players. 12 disruptors. 19 Dark Templar. So we still see a big lead here for Harstem in the units lost specifically. But doing it, oh, resources lost, also a huge lead for Harstem. And yet the game is so close because ShoWTimE just has been mining more. And at this point still is mining more. We also see a switch out of Harstem into big stalker numbers and not really adding any extra disruptors in. I wouldn't mind rather than seeing extra stalkers, you're seeing a big run-by army. I feel like, yeah, okay, getting a couple of stalkers over here is something that I definitely don't mind. As you see, Harstem kind of trying to match this army here out of ShoWTimE. ShoWTimE is looking at... look at his vision. He's pretty blind, huh? Still has the prism here. I like that move, by the way. That's a sick move. Just kind of held a prism there, use it as a pylon, except it warps in quickly. That is a pretty cool move. Now we have 2 more disruptors on the way here for the Dutch. Oh, big blink forward, big blink forward. Oh my god, huge hits as well, though. That blink was not worth it. That disruptor shot was worth it, though. So we get a couple of good shots on the other side. At the same time, not the greatest blink forward here out of Harstem. Still up in supply, trading... way better than his opponent this entire time. Now only 2 disruptors remaining though for the Dutch. Now he might get himself into a little bit of a pickle. Can he blink forward? Yes, he can blink forward. Once again, leading in supply by about 40, but ShoWTimE keeps expanding, keeps increasing his probe count, immediately giving up this base, saying, hey, you know what? You can have this base, I'll give you this. Just stay calm and don't do anything stupid, my friend. We wouldn't want anyone to get hurt here. And Harstem says, okay, I'll just leave 5 stalkers here and I'm gonna start moving towards the left side of the map. As ShoWTimE completely unaware that it's being spotted by this watchtower. It's actually kind of painful at this point. There's no disruptors here whatsoever. As the stalkers take out this base. 5 base against 5 base. Finally Harstem with the eco lead. Actually in a good spot. Actually in a good spot. DT is taking out a couple of probes here as well. And it's long overdue in my opinion. It's been a long time since we've seen some harassment from the Dutch. He was mainly focusing on making sure his disruptors stay alive. We'll be able to get this base. That's going to reset the base to, what, 4 against 4 now? And if Harstem can keep this base alive... Actually, it's going to be 4 against 5. I can't count. It's never been a... Ooh, it's going to go for the DTs instead. I'm not quite sure what I think of that. Rather than going home to defend his base, decides to kill 4 DTs? Is that the correct call here? Is that the correct call? Perhaps even just... He should have engaged a straight-up base trade. Recalls the disruptors, but they don't really do much of anything here. There's no battery. He's going to lose all of the disruptors. Oh no. Colossal error here. Huge mistake out of the Dutch. ShoWTimE re-expanding towards his own 5th. 15 workers go down. And is there anything to save this army? There is disruptors coming. The cavalry is coming in. 7 disruptors to be exact. A single disruptor against 7. Harstem not expecting these disruptor numbers right now. Loses control of the watchtower. Good blink forward. Oh, barely managed to kill that. Decent splits coming out of the Dutch sheet. No, only loses 3-4 zealots there. But still, those are the zealots that ShoWTimE right now isn't losing. There's just too many disruptors to blink in at this point. More disruptors on the way. Here we see +1 armor, or +1 attack for air. Perhaps wanting to go into into what actually? Into carriers? This is not the time, nor the place for carriers. Disruptors are trickling in, but blink forward will take it out, and this is the difference here, where Harstem smelled blood in the water many times. ShoWTimE smells it once, and he jumps on the opportunity. Starts moving in. Can we get a blink forward? No, we're seeing a blink to the side, but that's not going to save your 5th base. That is not going to save your 5th base whatsoever. Now we see Stalkers moving forward once again. Can he engage this though? The answer is pretty simple. It's a no. He can't engage this. It's 40 Stalkers, but there's so many Disruptors here. One Disruptor in the back might be useful. Ooh. Aggressive blink forward here out of ShoWTimE, but yeah, the Stalker numbers are basically even, and if the Stalker numbers are even, that means that the Disruptor numbers start counting again, and it's 5 up there for ShoWTimE, who will most likely once again start denying this 5th base. And once this 5th base doesn't get back up and mining, I mean, we're 46 workers here for Harstem. ShoWTimE is playing one hell of a game here. From very far behind, still down in resources lost, by the way. But just out-mining his opponent, just being a little bit faster with those run-bys. Overall APM, 473, almost a solid 90 higher here for the German Protoss player, who's now in full control, taking a 6th base as well. And at this point, it feels like we're looking at the prolonged death animation of the Dutchie, who fought a very good fight, but yeah, he's looking to be in a rough spot. Doesn't want to give up quite yet, though. He's looking for a comeback, perhaps. Trying to build those Disruptor numbers up. 4 on the map currently. And of course, a couple of good balls can change the outcome of this game. But the income of ShoWTimE is so high that if he wants to do something right now, he needs to do it right now. Right? There's not a lot of time here. There's just not going to be a lot of time here. The mining for ShoWTimE is just so much better and will get even better once this base finishes. Up 34 workers, up 2 bases. I mean, yeah, this is going to be pure pain. Surprised, no, ShoWTimE actually does have this watchtower, yeah. And he's gonna, boom. Not quite sure what these guys are looking for, but if they're looking for a warm welcome from the DTs, then they're definitely gonna find it. I don't think this is quite what they signed up for. These DTs try to move back home right now. We have a couple of more Zealots, 1 DT, but there's just no money. And yeah, the only thing that can save you at this point is one good fight with Disruptors, then pushing in, killing 2 bases, or even going for perhaps the gateways. But there's always the option of a base trade here for ShoWTimE, and that is a very scary prospect for Harstem. He's gonna try it though. He's gonna move out. He starts moving towards that 6th base. Disruptors stay at home. Just moving with purely the Stalkers at this point. Now the Disruptors maybe start looking for some side action. We'll start zoning out at least these Stalkers for now. And there's just nothing here. Long distance mining for ShoWTimE, who is absolutely outmining his counterpart at this point. Look at that. 2k mineral income against 500. Quadrupling the income there. Good fight though for the Dutch. He was superior. No, actually same upgrades. 3-1 against 3-1. Now maybe we can get a... Yeah. One of these needs to hit. And then another one of these needs to hit. And then another one. Like, you're gonna need not one big hit. You're gonna need ShoWTimE to fall asleep 3-4 times. And that's an issue. Because ShoWTimE doesn't really like sleeping in front of his PC. I heard he doesn't even use screens more than an hour, or yeah, more than an hour before his bedtime. Like, cuts off everything, you know? Doesn't even read a book. He just lays in a dark room. And then he goes to bed. That's how disciplined he is. I heard Harstem falls asleep and sometimes his mobile phone falls on his head. That's the difference there. Does manage to take out this base though. 8 disrupt... What? Oh, see that again. What was that? I want to see that again. Did he just attack his own Stalker? Let's have a quick look here. Is it a pagan or something? Oh, it was a probe. Ah, we're all good. We're all good. Got taken out. Oh, DT's actually killing 16 workers. Now, I'm not much of a dreamer, but I'm starting to believe again. There's no observers here for Harstem though, so this single DT could make life very painful. Oh, observer shows up. Hello? Hello? Oh! Well, 2 for 2, actually not the greatest trade, but then ShoWTimE gives 1 for free. Sometimes you do have that in the shop as well. Pay for 2, you get 3. That's what Harstem did here. The problem is that ShoWTimE has a lot more money. He can pay about 12 more, while Harstem can barely scrape the money together to get 1 more. Actually outmining his opponent in gas mining. Love to see it. Finally start mining this gas, by the way, with 4 workers. He's like, I haven't been mining that natural gas for so long. Now I'll send 4 workers into it. Absolutely brilliant move. Love to see it. So this watchtower, oh, it is brilliant. Look at that. He's denying the vision on the watchtower, and then bang! We'll kill all of these units. Absolutely brilliant play out of the Duchy. Oh my god, the brain on this guy. The brain on this guy. And now this is going to be it. He needs to take out this base, and he needs to take out the next base as well. And at that point, there's actually no more mining for ShoWTimE. Army supply, surprisingly even. This base is gonna fall. This base is dead. Is it possible? Disruptors are being spotted as well. Are these the only 4 disruptors? The answer is yes. Oh, the answer is yes. Harstem sees it. Harstem sees it. Harstem sees it. Needs to shoot a couple of shots. Needs to shoot one to the right. Needs to shoot. Oh no. Oh my god. It's gonna get absolutely blasted, but the possibility was there for a win. Sadly, didn't end up happening for the Duchy as ShoWTimE takes the big fat victory. Alright, that's going to be it for me today. I hope you all had a great time watching this. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you all next time for a new video. Thank you all so much, and ciao ciao. Appreciate your